Good morning, good evening, good whatever time you're watching this at. Welcome to yet another Pipedream speedrun. In this speedrun, we're going to integrate Next.js, the React full stack framework, with a Pipedream workflow. So if you use Next.js, you probably have heard of Vercel. It's an excellent hosting provider, makes it dead simple to ship your Next.js sites to your users right on the edge where they're the closest physically to your site when they're making requests, and your site is even faster. Pipedream is the perfect fit to add some basic backend functionality, like accepting a form input, for example, and sending it to Slack, your CRM, your database, your Google Sheet, anywhere that has an API. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm starting with the backend first. This is our Pipedream workflow, and here you can see there's an HTTP webhook interface we could use to start a trigger or trigger this workflow. Perfect. So we'll choose this, and then we are expecting an HTTP request with a body containing the data from our front end. So we can select this, and we can save and continue to define that we're just going to send a regular 200 response. Now here's something new at Pipedream that we just shipped that allows you to generate a test event rather than going over to Axios or going over to your Postman or Insomnia and generating this by hand. Instead, you just click this really nice little button and you have that interface directly in your workflow without leaving it. And here we can, if we have two separate people working on this project, say I'm the backend guy, and we're trying to coordinate the structure of the JSON between the front end and the back end, what it expects. So here we can plan ahead, say, okay, we're going to send an email for this first version, and you can go ahead and get started on the form while I'll work on the Pipedream workflow. So as the backend guy, I'm just going to pretend that the email is coming in, and we're going to use my own email, pierce@pipedream.com, as the example. Now we can just click send HTTP request to actually send an HTTP request to our little webhook. And here we can see success. Now we have an HTTP request to test and build our workflow from. Now we can continue and add another step. Now, if we're doing a contact email or a contact form, we probably want to notify ourselves whenever a new message has come in. The easiest way is to just send yourself an email. And here we can define the subject. We'll just say new contact form submission. And below we could say the actual email. So email, and then we can go up to the results, copy the path, which will automatically copy the path to the step export. It's being exported from the trigger. That's why it's called a step export. And you can see steps.trigger.event. The HTTP request is the event. And then we could see the email address right there. And we can take it a step further and just test this workflow without even worrying if the front end's done yet. We can test independently of the front end developer doing their work. Successfully sent email, fantastic. So this email will be sent to my inbox, and I'll know as soon as actual leads start coming into our front end when it's done. Now to show you the full example, here is our ContactForm component on Next.js. I'll include this code in the post below. There should be a link. You can just copy and paste this code and use it in your project. The only two dependencies I'm adding here are Axios to perform the HTTP request, and this library called React Hook Form, which is really nice for creating forms. It takes all the cruft away of making forms by hand, which in React can be a little tedious. All you have to do is replace the webhook URL here with the one from your Pipedream workflow. So in my example here, I'm going to go back up to the trigger, click the select event area, and then copy this link. This is the unique link that triggers this specific workflow. And then we can paste it in here. And here's the full URL. At the very end of the response, we'll have a little success message. So let's see it in action. I'm looking at my development environment here and seeing the Next.js blog. And you can see all this wonderful, unique content that has never been written before. I'm testing this out as the user, and I want to join this newsletter because it's so great. So we'll just add Pierce from frontend.com. We'll submit it. We could see that the front end actually sent the message and the callback was processed. We have a success message here. If we return to our workflow, we could see there's a brand new event, which we just generated from our local front end, and it has the data we're expecting. Perfect. So now we can deploy, and this will work for real on a live environment. Now, this is just an example of how you can extend a static site like Next.js with backend functionality without code or worrying about cores or worrying about deployments or worrying about OAuth for certain apps like Slack, etc. Pipedream handles all that for you. You just have to define the webhook URL that Next.js, Nuxt, Eleventy, Jekyll, whatever static site generator you prefer to use with Pipedream. Do you want to see this example in your framework of choice? Just let us know. I'm happy to make an example. Or if you have a special backend integration you want to see, again, inbox is open. Have a great day.